Hey guys, I'm here today to do part 1 of my birthday book haul. It was my birthday, my 30th birthday, on Saturday the 9th of, I was going to say September. Why September? May. And I had a really good day actually. Obviously it's odd having a birthday in lockdown, but I'd never be someone who'd have a big party or anything like that. I can't think of anything worse. So it was a nice chill day and people bought me sweets and lush stuff and books and board games, and all those things are basically my favourite things, so it couldn't have gone better. And people were really kind and like made sure to post me things or put things in my front garden that I could find, and it was just, yeah, it was a really nice day. And I'm on annual leave this week and it's just been super nice to chill out with like all my little goodies and stuff. So yeah, just been really grateful and thankful for people, so that's been really nice. And I'm not going to get away without mentioning my hair, am I? So on Sunday, our Prime Minister announced that we were going to be in lockdown for a lot longer. They've eased some of the restrictions, which I don't agree with, but we won't get into that here. And so I've been wondering what I'd look like with a skinhead for quite a while now, and I thought now is as good a time as any. My haircut was supposed to be cut about my hair was supposed to be cut about 6 weeks ago. Every morning I woke up and looked like Ace Pet Detective, and it was getting a little bit annoying. And so I just shaved it all off. I went a little bit too short. I went with a number 2. I think it will look a little bit better in a week or so, because at the moment you can see a lot of scalp. I think it will look better when it's got a little bit more growth, but it's going to grow super quickly, so it's fine. The sun's just come out and it's just glaring in my eye, so I apologise if this is suddenly really well lit. I'm sure it will disappear in a minute and we'll just have awkwardly lit video throughout. Oh well. So yeah, I'm getting used to it. My head feels quite cold when I go out at the moment. It's not very warm here in the UK, so I'm having to wear a little hat. But other than that, it's been fine. And whenever we see people with skinheads, all men so far, Johnny keeps saying that I'm part of a little gang and, you know, should go, you know, fist bump them. Obviously I can't do that because we can't go near each other, but it's been quite amusing. So anyway, on to the books. So I'm going to mention this one first because I'm part way through it. I was trying to not start any of them until I'd hauled them, but I couldn't do that. Does it really matter? No. So my mum got me Exciting Times by Naoise Dolan. The sun is going away now. So this is a debut novel by a very young Irish author. She has been sort of raved about by Sally Rooney, and lots of people are comparing her to Sally Rooney. And mainly, I thought the cover was brilliant and I really wanted the book. And I like the sound of the premise. So this is about a early 20-something Irish girl who moves over to Hong Kong to teach English. And when she's over there, she meets a very wealthy man, and she begins a sort of odd relationship with him where they're not really in a relationship, but he buys her lots of things and they have sex with one another. And then following on from that, she meets a woman who is a native to Hong Kong, and she starts a sort of relationship with her, which is a proper relationship, and she's kept the two secret from one another, and she's not really sure how to move forward with that. I'm enjoying it. I get the comparisons to Sally Rooney in tone, but I do think that this character is quite different to Sally Rooney's characters. She's quite cold and distant, and with every relationship she tries to look at the sort of value it adds to her and the level of power she has in that relationship. So she's a really interesting character to read about. I'm about 2/3 of the way through this. I'm going to definitely finish this today and then I will talk about it more. The next one is Coming Up for Air by Sarah Leipciger? Should have checked, I apologise. I heard Rachel over at The Reader and the Right rave about this one. I'm going to link her review video up here, and I thought it sounded brilliant and I'd never heard of it. And I immediately went and had a look at the Goodreads reviews, and I just loved all the things people were saying about it. It sounded like the sort of book I could really enjoy. So this is multiple perspectives, multiple timelines. I love both those things, particularly when they're together. And it follows a woman who, and this is a true story I believe, in 1899 she drowns and in France in a river, and she is used, her body is used as the mould for resuscitation masks, and the moulds we use today are based on her body. We also follow a toy maker in 1950s Norway, and then we also follow a journalist in present day Canada who is battling a disease that's to do with breathing. So all these people are linked by breathing and by the use of her face as this mask. So I think that sounds really interesting. It is written really beautifully. The segments I read in people's reviews sounded really lyrical, and I really feel like reading a historical fiction right now, so I think I might reach for this one pretty soon. Then my friends don't usually risk choosing books for me because obviously I have a lot, but I was chatting with one of my friends the other day about what we've been reading during lockdown, and she sent me a photo of a few new books she'd picked up for herself, and I said, oh, I've only read one of those, which was Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo, and obviously I really enjoyed it, and so based on that she knew I didn't have the other three, and so she picked one up for me, and that is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I heard loads about this actually, and I was tempted to pick it up myself because I think this is supposed to be really beautiful nature writing, which is something I always want to read more of, and I think a few of you may have actually told me to pick this one up. I heard lots of American booktubers talk about it, but I didn't hear many people over in the UK talk about it, so I don't know if it hasn't been as big over here. So this is set on the North Carolina coast in the late 1960s. A man is found dead and people suspect a young girl who lives on the marsh, and then we follow her. I think this is sort of a coming of age story, and like I said, really focused on nature writing. And I think this might be one that's just like a super a book I could really get lost in, so this will be a nice one to pick up one weekend when I have a bit of time. And then another one of my lovely friends picked me up Happy Vegan by Fearne. This is a cookbook, and I was a rubbish cook. I'd say now I'm a mediocre cook. I got the green roasting tin on Lauren's recommendation, which I think loads of us did, and it's made me much braver, and now I want to be a bit more brave and try more things, and this is the perfect next step, I think. So Fearne isn't herself fully vegan, I don't think, but she eats vegan a lot of the time, and so a lot of these recipes are to encourage people to try more vegan food, so they're not that difficult. I also love the photography, and I chose 2 recipes from this to cook this week. I had a great time yesterday afternoon flicking through this while I was watching Robin Hood, the old Disney film, which I love. And we managed to get a online delivery slot, like to be delivered, which we haven't done for months since this all started. And so we've been having to go to the shops and trying to stock up, so obviously everything's been a little bit limited, so it'll be really nice to be able to cook some things. So I'll tell you what they are in case you're interested. I'm going to make the broccoli katsu curry. Never made a katsu curry before, and broccoli is one of my favourite vegetables. I mean, I love every single vegetable ever. Not such a big fan of fruit, bloody love veg, but particularly broccoli. And then I also chose this spicy bean stew. It's been a little bit colder here lately. Typically it's going to be a bit warmer again tomorrow, but I'm going to choose one of the colder days to do this. It just looks really tasty. It's all like tomatoey, kidney beans, butter beans and sweet potato. I love all those things and I'm excited to try it out. So there's that, and it's just got a lovely mixture, so I'd recommend trying this if you are new to being vegan or want to give being vegan a go, or if you're a vegan like me who just isn't very confident at cooking, because it's great. Then all these next ones, Johnny picked me up off a wish list I had, which is very kind of him. This first one is After the Fire, A Still Small Voice by Evie Wyld. I think this might have been her debut novel. It was her debut novel or her second. I'm not 100% sure. But I read all of her other novels and really enjoyed them, and so this is the last one and I wanted to pick it up. And obviously I read the Bass Rock a month or so ago and loved it, and so I was like, why haven't I read her other book? So this is also set across different timelines with different characters. We follow 2 men. One is a man who is living on in a beach shack, and a young girl goes missing locally and he gets accused, I believe, he falls under suspicion. And then we follow a man decades earlier who is trying to look after his family's business during the Korean War, and then he's sent to fight in the Vietnam War. I think this is set in Australia. Evie Wyld has an Australian mother and a British father, and she spent most of her time in Britain but went over to Australia for the summers, so her books are set in both locations, but I'm pretty sure this one is set in Australia, so looking forward to that. This next one, I'm so annoyed with myself, it's taken me so long to get. It's Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. So I'm trying to read Toni Morrison's books in order, which means I've read The Bluest Eye and Sula. Really enjoyed them both. Preferred Sula. I love books about complex female friendships or just relationships in general. And so as soon as I finished Sula, I was like, I need to now get this one. But they then brought out these beautiful new editions, and Vintage brought these out, and I was like, I really want those editions. So I have some American editions, which I'm not actually a massive fan of, but they were just the best I could find at the time. So I kept saying, well, you're not allowed to buy the next one until you've replaced these 2 in the new editions, and that held me up for 2 years. Pathetic. So I just decided, no, I'm just gonna get the next one, move on, and then at some point or other I will replace the others as I go forward. I don't know loads about this one. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is about. I know it's about a man called Milkman, I believe. It is set in the 1930s and it's supposed to be amazing. This is one of the ones of hers I actually hear the most people talk about, so I'm very excited to get to it. The next one is a new to paperback release. It's only just come out in paperback in the UK, and that is Patsy by Nicole Dennis-Benn. I have wanted to try Nicole Dennis-Benn since her first book, Here Comes the Sun. I thought it sounded brilliant. And then when Patsy came out, I was like, oh, I really want to read that one as well. So I decided to give Patsy a go out of the two of them, and just really, really excited. Obviously this has this glorious cover. This has a really great cover in both the US and the UK. So we follow a woman who moves from Jamaica to New York to try and make a new life for herself. One of her friends has been writing to her and telling her how amazing it is, and she gets there and it's not quite what she expected. But she leaves her daughter behind in Jamaica with her grandmother, and so I think we're following this from both their perspectives. Patsy as she's in America with it not being quite what she expected, and her daughter as she's left behind and dealing with that. And I think one or both of these women start a queer relationship. I'm not quite sure, but I know Nicole Dennis-Benn's previous book also featured a female-female romance. I'm just really intrigued by this, and it's a lovely floppy edition, which is quite unusual for UK books, so I'm so happy for more UK books to be published with this lovely floppy, what do you call it, format, I guess. So there's that. Then I have a few non-fiction books. So I did a video over on Patreon for my tier 1 patrons, which is $1. So if you are interested, I'll link it down below and you can go have a look, where I spoke about the 12 memoirs I want to try and read in 2020. I keep tripping over my words today. I really loved reading memoirs in 2019 and I really wanted to focus a lot more on them. So I made a list of 12 memoirs which were focused around themes I really enjoy, which is race, identity, immigration, sort of social issues, and I've been working my way through those books and gradually picking them up. And one of them was Out of Egypt by, I'm probably going to butcher this, André Aciman. This author wrote Call Me By Your Name, that's what a lot of people know him for. I read his essay in What My Mother and I Don't Talk About and I thought it was beautifully written. And to be honest, I'd never had any urge to read Call Me By Your Name, although I really enjoyed the film. And after reading that essay I was like, oh, I really want to read you know, more from him. But the thing I wanted to pick up first was his memoir, because I actually think a memoir is a really good place to start with an author, because then you read their books and you can sort of see where they've pulled some things from, which I just think is interesting. So the author was born, I think, in Alexandria to a Jewish family with Italian and Turkish roots. It made its home in Egypt for 3 generations, but they were expelled by the government in the early 1960s. So perhaps he wasn't born there, because I don't know how old he is. But anyway, this follows the history of his family and then his life in present day, and I'm just so intrigued to read more about his family and his personal life, because it was really beautifully done in the essay I read. And then a few of you kindly recommended this other memoir to me when I spoke about the sort of memoirs I was really enjoying and on the lookout for, and that is From the Ashes, My Story of Being Métis, Homeless and Finding My Way by Thistle. So I'm going to read this out, and I apologise for anything I say wrong here, because I'm sure I will. Thistle is Métis Cree from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, probably butcher that. And this is his memoir about growing up. He was abandoned by his parents as a toddler. He went through the foster care system with his 2 brothers. They were sent to their paternal grandparents and left because it wasn't a very nice atmosphere. And it follows his childhood and how he sort of survived it, really, and how he found his way and sort of marked a place out his home. And so many people have said this is really beautifully written, and I really wanted to read, like I said, more memoirs, but particularly by First Nations voices. So loads of people said this was really great. And then I have 2 graphic books. I have wanted to pick this up for ages, it's taken me so long. This is March Book 1 by John Lewis, Andrew Aydin and Nate Powell. I think this is a 3-book non-fiction graphic series about the civil rights movement in America. And I've heard lots of American-based booktubers rave about this series of books, and wanted to get to it for a couple of years and just haven't prioritised it. So I was really glad that Johnny picked this one up for me. Yeah, I think I'll, you know some of this stuff from some of the sort of longer format non-fiction I've read, but I think there'll be loads of people's names I don't recognise and should know more about, and this will be a really nice, easy format to you know, pull me in a little bit and then go look into it more. So excited about that. And then I have one more, and that is Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice. I really struggle to say her surname. Oseman? Not sure if that's how you say it. I've read Heartstopper Volume 1 and 2, obviously. I've got them both out of the library, but I really would like to own them because they're definitely books I would reread. They're just lovely. They're not, I'm not saying they're not sad at points, because they are, and they do deal with some difficult topics, but actually in general they're quite heartwarming and sort of hopeful. So they're lovely books to read if you're feeling a bit low. So I'm saving this maybe for a day when I'm feeling a bit meh. So if you don't know, the graphic novel series, I don't really want to spoil anything, but you follow two boys who meet one another in high school in the UK, and one of them is gay and he's out, so everybody at school knows, and he becomes friends with another boy, and things happen and you follow their relationship and the sort of ups and downs of that. And it's just lovely, really quick read. It's not the sort of art style I usually go for in graphic novels, but I actually really enjoy it, and I'd happily read more graphic novels that are like this. So yeah, definitely recommend those if you can get hold of them and you're feeling a bit low. So those are all the books I was gifted. It's just a lovely stack, and I just obviously want to read them all at once, which is always the way, isn't it, when you get new books. But I also treated myself to the books, of course. So there will be a part 2, but I'm not sure how quickly that will get uploaded, because obviously I ordered them all. I ordered them from several different places online because I wanted to try and support various different bookshops. So some of them will arrive quicker than others, and some, you know, might take a lot longer. So I will do that book haul when I can. But yeah, I've got a really good stack of books coming there as well, so I'm very excited. So let me know if you've read any of these, and if you have, what you thought of them. Always, I don't know why I asked for more recommendations, because I have so many books, but I'm glad I asked for recommendations, because I'd never have known about this one if you guys hadn't spoken about it to me, so that's always lovely. So yeah, let me know down below, and I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're doing okay with everything and finding, like, you know, small moments of comfort and things to keep you going. And yeah, I'll chat to you in the comments down below. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.